The transport ship Valiant Dawn hung in orbit above Kashari 7, its hull scorched from atmospheric entry. Inside the medical bay, Commander Torvik of the Galactic Coalition stood frozen, his compound eyes widening at an impossible sight. A human female sat cross-legged on the sterile floor, surrounded by 7 Kashari cubs, apex predators whose adult forms could tear through reinforced steel. The cubs pressed against her, their crystalline fur shimmering in distress. The smallest one, no larger than a Terran wolf pup, had wedged itself between her arm and ribcage, refusing to move. "Explain this," Torvik clicked, his translator rendering the Zelnari language into flat, emotionless tones. The human looked up. Her face was gaunt, streaked with dirt and dried blood. Her left arm hung in an improvised sling. But her eyes, those distinctly human eyes, held something Torvik had seen too often. In his 70 cycles of military service, the unflinching gaze of someone who had walked through hell and carried others out with her. "My name is Lirana Kovac," she said quietly, civilian xenobiologist. "I was part of the research outpost on Kashari 7 before the Kryn attacked." Torvik's mandibles clicked nervously. The Kryn invasion had been sudden and devastating. When his battalion arrived 3 planetary rotations later, they'd found nothing but scorched earth and silence. No survivors, no bodies, just ash. "The outpost was destroyed 17 days ago," Torvik said. "Our scans showed no life signs." "How did you—" "Because we weren't at the outpost." Lirana's hand moved to stroke the cub beside her, Dravi she'd called him earlier. The cub's 6 legs tucked tighter against her. "We were in the deep forests. I was studying Kashari maternal behavior when the bombardment started." She paused and something flickered across her face. "Grief, perhaps. Or rage carefully contained." I heard the screams over the comm, watched the sky turn orange. By the time I could move, there was nothing left to return to. Her jaw tightened, but I'd found something else. A Kashari mother dying from shrapnel wounds, and her cubs. Torvik's adjutant, a young Felxian named Saris, stepped forward. "Kashari are non-sentient predators. Protocol dictates that we leave children to die." Lirana's voice cut like a blade. The cubs stirred, sensing her agitation. Dravi made a low, rumbling sound, not quite a growl, but close. Torvik raised a limb, silencing Saris. "Continue." Lirana took a breath, her fingers never stopping their gentle rhythm through Dravi's fur. The mother looked at me. "And I know what your files say, that Kashari are just animals, that they don't think, don't feel. But you're wrong." Her eyes blazed. She understood. She was dying, and she understood that her children wouldn't survive alone. She pushed them toward me. Every instinct in her body should have made her attack, but instead— Lirana's voice cracked. She cleared her throat. "Instead, she trusted me. A alien, a stranger, because I was all she had." The medical bay had gone silent. Even the ship's ambient hum seemed muted. "So I stayed." Lirana continued. "I couldn't carry her. She weighed 300 kilos, and the wounds. There was nothing I could do. But I could stay. I held her head while she died. I promised her I wouldn't leave them." Torvik felt something uncomfortable shift in his chest cavity. Humans were known for their irrational emotional attachments, their bizarre tendency to adopt anything with eyes. "But this, not 17 days, he said slowly. "You kept 7 Kashari cubs alive for 17 days. In a war zone. With no supplies. I had my field kit. Basic medical supplies, a water purifier, protein bars." She shrugged her good shoulder. "Kashari cubs can eat most organic matter. I taught them to hunt small prey. Kept them hidden in caves during the Kryn patrols. At night, when they cried for their mother." She looked down at Dravi, and the cub stared back with luminous golden eyes. "At night, I held them, all of them. And I sang stupid human lullabies my grandmother taught me. I don't think they understood the words, but they understood the meaning." "You're not alone." "I'm here. I won't leave." Saris spoke again, his tone softer. "But humans need more resources than how did you survive?" Lirana's laugh was hollow. "Barely. I gave them most of the food. Drank rainwater. On day 12, I got careless. A Kryn patrol spotted us." She gestured to her injured arm. "Took a plasma bolt. Would have taken more, but Dravi and his siblings. They fought." Her hand trembled slightly as she touched the cub's head. "They're babies. They shouldn't have been able to hurt soldiers in battle armor, but they attacked anyway. Clawed at joints, went for the weak points I'd taught them about in our games." They saved me. Torvik looked at the cubs with new eyes. They weren't just animals. They were a pack, and Lyrana was their alpha. After that, we ran deeper into the forests, kept moving. I knew coalition forces would come eventually. I just had to keep them alive until then. She met Torvik's gaze. So I did. The question remains, Torvik said carefully. What happens now? We cannot transport combat predators to coalition space. Regulations? No. The word was absolute. Dravi's head snapped up, and suddenly all 7 cubs were on their feet, forming a protective circle around Lyrana. She didn't move. Didn't need to. These cubs are going where I go, she said quietly. I made a promise to their mother. I won't break it for regulations. Saris opened his mouth, but Torvik raised a limb. He'd seen combat for 7 decades. He knew warriors when he saw them, regardless of species. There is a colony world, he said slowly. New Tarragon? Large wilderness preserves. They have facilities for dangerous fauna rehabilitation. He paused. They also need xenobiologists, civilian positions, independent contractors. Understanding dawned in Lyrana's eyes. I would need to file considerable paperwork, Torvik continued. Classify these cubs as rescued endangered species rather than predators. Assign you as their rehabilitation specialist. His mandibles clicked in what might have been amusement. Humans are known for their creative approach to regulations. For the first time since they'd found her, Lyrana smiled. It transformed her exhausted face into something fierce and beautiful. Thank you, Commander. Torvik nodded. As he turned to leave, he paused. The soldiers asked why the cubs wouldn't leave your side. Lyrana looked down at Dravi, who had already reclaimed his position against her side. Because I never abandoned theirs. That's what humans do, Commander. We stay, even when it's stupid, even when it's impossible. She met his eyes one last time, especially then. As Torvik walked away, he found himself thinking about humanity's reputation in the galaxy. Their stubbornness, their refusal to accept the logical choice, their insane capacity for loyalty. He'd always considered it a weakness. Perhaps, he thought, watching Lyrana curl protectively around 7 deadly predators who loved her like a mother. He'd been wrong. Perhaps that was humanity's greatest strength.